What's going on, the Copywriting Call podcast? It's your boy Lil Show 2.0, the copy god himself. And today I got Robin with me. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah. Hey, Carlos. Nice to be here. Robin Westerlund is my name. I'm a performance coach, lives in Finland, which is north of Europe. And small country, really beautiful, pretty cold. Yeah.
Hey, cool, man. I'll tell you, what degrees is it over there now?
Degrees, it's about 10 degrees Celsius, which would be around 50 maybe Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, for Fahrenheit, yeah, because we're Fahrenheit over here in America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's similar. It's over here. It's the same thing. It's 52 degrees and it's raining, which is like the worst combination ever.
Yeah.
But
sounds about like our climate. And soon the winter will come. Then we will have it really cold. But yeah, it's we choose to live here, so we can't blame it on anyone else.
I got you. So Robin, why don't you start off by kind of just telling us a little bit about what inspired you to become like a performance coach?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been into sports my entire life, mainly played soccer or football, as we like to call it here in Europe. So I've been playing that for my entire life, and at a quite young age, I understood that it's something else than just like the physical aspects that decides if a player is really good or not. Because I had people being in better shape than me, and I had people being in worse shape than me. But I could, so at my best days, I could outperform everybody, but at my worst day, I could get outperformed by everybody. So I understood that it has to be something else. But as a 12, 13-year-old kid, I didn't really understand what that thing was, but it got me curious. So a few years later, I started like reading books and go deep into the personal development rabbit hole. And and I quite quickly understood that it's basically our mind that decides how our lives will look like. If we think that everything is against us and everything will be shit, well, our lives will probably become just that. And as I started to like join online courses and try to get hold of mentors and read more about this. And a few years later, in my early 20s, I found an education actually to become a mental coach here in Finland. And I immediately felt like this education is created just for me. Like this is made for me. This is like my calling. So I started the education with the goal to become a performance coach for athletes, so I could help athletes perform better, like when the stakes are high. I learned a lot under the education, and when I got my diploma from it, I decided that I can help other people as well. So I mainly help entrepreneurs, creative geniuses, and athletes perform better. So that's my background story.
No, that's all good. That's good. So I like how you say that you also do it for athletes as much as you do it for business people as well, because I totally agree. 80%, I feel like 80%, maybe even more, is mental, where 20% or less is pretty much skill, right? It's all about that what's in the inside. Now, how has like your family been like taking, you going into, business and trying to be like a performance coach, right? Have they been very supportive, or like what's your environment like?
I would say it's pretty mixed feelings. My wife supports me like 100%, so that feels really good. I would say my parents and people like that don't really understand to this day what I'm doing, because to tell people like, I help you think better, or I help you change your thoughts so you can perform better. It's hard to explain it. Like you basically have to experience it before you actually believe that it works. So
okay, so I get that. So with explaining it, so then it must also be like that even with getting clients and stuff. So how do you show that, like, what's your biggest I guess evidence that shows that what you do actually works?
Yeah, That's a great question. So I would say that's my testimonial from my former clients, current and former clients. I always ask for testimonials, like because I know the reason most people don't get testimonials is basically because they don't feel like they have any business asking for it. So I ask for them, and I make sure, like as I said, this is like all my life. All my life I've been looking for, like, I always knew I wanted to run a business, but I had no clue what kind of business. I didn't know what I was really good at, or like what I was supposed to do. So when I found this education, I, for the first time in my life, felt like this is what I can see myself doing for a really long time. And the more I do it, the more certain I get that, like, I'm put on this earth to do exactly this, because like I understand the competition, like the competition in both business and sports, because I've been there myself. Like I understand that mindset is a huge thing, but it's like you have to speak with someone that gets it before you can help them, if that makes sense. Like I can't ask mindset lessons from my grandma, if that makes sense, because she's not in this field.
Yeah, so she understand it. Okay.
Yeah. So so it's a really good question, because of course it's a bit tricky to sell mindset, because as I said, I can't paint a really clear picture of it, like what it looks like. But if you spend 1 hour with me, you will understand that, yeah, there are probably things we can change for the better. So yeah.
Okay, so you said spend an hour with you. Is that kind of like your, I guess, what lead magnet or so, when you're like pretty much like trying to sell someone on it? Like how do you get basically your clients right now?
Yeah, so I get most of my clients from social media. I post content at least 5 times per week. I got about a Facebook group, and on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So I put out content quite consistently, and then from my content, people usually reach out and like says something like, "Oh, I could really resonate with the post you wrote yesterday. I'm interested to see if you could help me." And then I jump on a call with them. We see if I think I could help them. If I really feel I could, then I will pitch them. If I feel like this is not a thing I can help you with, then I will tell them. Because the reason I get great results for my clients is like I only work with people I'm certain I can help, if that makes sense. I don't want to, yeah.
So yeah, it's like you almost like you it's almost like the client has to sell themselves to you, almost, right? Like you.
Yeah.
That's really great, man. I think that's a smart way to basically weed people out, and almost like it actually probably has the opposite effect, I think, right? Like you're telling them like, all right, let me see if you're a good fit for me, just as much as if I'm a good fit for you. Almost like you don't need them, and they're like, hold on, wait a second, hold on, I am a good fit for you. Let me show you why. Type of thing. Yeah. Now that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so. I guess the times when you're not working on your business, what are some of the things that you're doing for fun and stuff like that to keep like that work-life balance?
Yeah, absolutely. I read a lot of books. I watch a lot of sports, like soccer mainly, Premier League, the English league. I spend a lot of time with my wife. We try to like go on adventures, like how do I say it, like do something we haven't done before. Not always, of course. Sometimes we do things we've done before, but we try to do new things, like because we want to expand our comfort zones, and we want to like learn new things, see new things, travel. So yeah, and it's also great to keeping the spark alive, if that makes sense, like to mix things up. So,
yeah, no, definitely. Didn't you recently just get married too?
Yeah, I did 2 months ago. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Congratulations, man. Welcome to the married club. I'm almost a year in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Still going strong.
Yeah, no, definitely. Most definitely, yeah. Man. Thank you. Appreciate it. But so that's good things that you do right there to keep a work-life balance. Now with entrepreneurship, just like sports, just like relationships, right? It's like a roller coaster, it goes up and down. Okay. What are some things that you do when you're down to basically get yourself back up, like for your mental health?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I I have a few tools I use, but let's say it's just a day where I don't feel like doing the work. I always like try to create a list with critical tasks, like things I have to do, like needle moving tasks, I like to call them. And as long as I do those, like if I do those 3 needle moving tasks, if I wouldn't do anything else under the day, it doesn't really matter because I've done something to take my business forward. So if it's like if I feel I wake up and I feel like, oh no, I have no energy, or like I feel really low today, I just try to push through, like to get the list done as soon as possible. Let's say I do the critical task by 1 p.m., then I can take the rest of the day off if I still feel like it. But what I've seen a lot with my clients and with myself is like, as long as you push through like the first obstacle, you do the other things. You will do the other things as well. It's just the like, we can't sit and wait for the motivation to come. We have like motivation usually comes when we start taking action. So that's, yeah. If I have a bad day, I would say that's what I do. If I'm in like a slump for a long time, let's say a week or longer, then I try to do something else that is like not related to business at all. Like go for a hike, spend 2 days spoiling my wife and like use the energy she gives me because I spoiled her to, get back on track or whatever, go for a long run. So something completely not business related. I just take like 2 days off and I do something else until I feel like, okay, we're getting back on track here. So yeah, it's important to protect our mental health for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Work hard, play hard, right? So it's like, just as hard as you work, sometimes, if you work too hard for too long, you experience burnout. But then if you take the time to, just as hard as you work, I definitely feel like that's definitely helps people move along. And I like what you said as well too about like doing tasks and stuff like that. I was actually reading something called I forgot what it was called. It was some book about the 1 year plan or something. And it was talking about how like if you should start your day by doing the easier tasks first just to get momentum, because the hardest step is the first step. It's not, you know what I mean? That's why you should do something easy first in order to get into the momentum and then keep going out your day. So no, that's definitely awesome. Great stuff that you said. Now, you do your entrepreneurship full time?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so how was the transition from like, or if you ever did, because I don't know if you worked a 9 to 5, but how was the transition from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship if you experienced it?
Yes, I did experience it. I used to work in a retail store like full time, and I did my coaching on the side, and then we decided to move, and I decided to go all in my business. I would say it was exciting but pretty rough, because I didn't earn as much from my coaching like as I did from my 9 to 5 when I quit, if that makes sense, which might sound stupid to some and might sound like a bold move to some. It was, I would say it was a bit of both, but I was quite certain that I will be able to get more clients from social media, because I used to work, like before I worked in the retail store, I worked for a social media agency, and I was like the VP of sales. So I'm quite like, I have a bit of experience from social media sales. And by then, when I went full time with my coaching business, I had gotten like, I hadn't worked with a lot of clients, but those I had worked with, I had gotten great results for. So I had momentum on my side for sure. Of course, it took a bit longer than I had planned it to take, like to get more clients. I think many times when we create goals, we like we how do I say it? We like overestimate what we can do in like 6 months.
Yeah.
So I fell in that trap for sure. But it was like I was still swimming, and like the last year, I've grown like every quarter. My business is growing like basically every month. It's going a little bit better and a little bit better. So yeah, it's moving in the right direction for sure.
It's definitely also about it's funny that you said that too. We overestimate what we could do in 6 months. Tony Robbins said the exact thing. He was like, we overestimate what we could do in 6 months, but underestimate what we could do in like a decade. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Well,
for sure.
you know, because the thing is, it takes 10,000 hours, or most of these entrepreneurs 10 years in order to really blow up and be millionaires. But we only see it.
Yeah,
We only see it right now, and we think it's instant. But they've been putting in work for years, posting that content, stuff like you're saying, stuff like I'm doing to basically grow our businesses. So I definitely do that. One last question too before we go into the next section. So like, how do you feel? Do you feel like being entrepreneurship? I know you said your wife is 100% supportive, but do you feel like being an entrepreneur, especially full time, has put any type of stress on your relationship, or do you feel like if anything, it made it better? Or like, what's your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. I would say, yeah, for sure. We had some arguments and and it's caused some stress, like mainly financial stress,
Mhm.
just like because I couldn't tell her when I started full time, like I will make this much next month or the month after.
Yeah.
It was more like, yeah, I plan on making this much, but we have to see what happens. So of course it caused some stress, and like it it didn't feel good for me, because now I had her as well. I have to get money in for her sake as well. Like if it was only me, it would have been easier, because
Yeah.
I can how do I say, I can suffer for a pretty long time. you
Yeah.
know
But you got to
but
think about her too.
I don't want her to suffer at all. So of course it
Mhm.
like caused some stress, but she's also like, she understands that it's a part of the game. Like she's good at adapting, and like we talked it through many times, and she understands it, and as I said, she fully supports me. I've even like we've had a convo, like if I should take a side gig when business was really slow, but she was like, I rather see you like go all in on your goals and just do like whatever you can to make your business grow, instead of like taking a job you don't want at all, just because
Mhm.
to earn a few
I,
$100.
I think that's really important, man, to have someone by your side that pushes you in that type of way, man. That's great, man. That sounds like you have a lovely wife who's also
Yeah,
really supportive and stuff. That's good. I know exactly how that feels. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of opposite over here. So I also, well, I'm like a basically kind of like, well, you said your position was like VP of sales. I'm like kind of similar situation at my job now,
hmm,
where I'm running like 10 locations. But at the same time, I'm also doing my business on the side. But my
yeah,
wife, she was doing her business and she was working. But like, I've made enough money, or make enough money, or a good amount of money from my job, where I was just like, hey, listen, just quit your job, go all in on your goals. Then when your thing blows up, and when my business blows up, I quit my job. It's like you're a team now. So it sounds like you guys are a team. You guys
yeah,
help bring each other up, and I feel like that's very important, especially for
yeah.
entrepreneurs, right? Because it gets lonely sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I fully agree with that. It's really funny that you said we're on the same team, because like one of like when we got married, like at our wedding, the priest said some things about like, always remember you are playing in the same team, and she used like playing on the same team, because I played soccer my entire life, so it's really
Yeah.
easy to use. Like if I think of my wife like a team player, like it's me and her against like the obstacle. It's not like the obstacles versus me and versus her. It's like we are the same. We're the same team, so we're tackling the obstacles together. So yeah,
Yeah. No, great, 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 man. So if you had to leave the audience one last piece of advice, what would you say?
I would say it's really important for ambitious people to remember that your performance does not equal your self-worth. It's like you are more than your performance. Because
Okay.
it's really funny that I say that, because I used to like my entire self-worth and self-identity was connected to my performance. If I
Mhm.
performed well at the field, I was good. If I performed bad, I was bad. But yeah, I learned from a really smart older man that yeah, your performance does not equal your self-worth, and it's, if you can like really grasp that concept, you can save a lot of like mental health issues. Like yeah, you will feel a lot better. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's like, because sometimes it's what we do, right? I think sometimes, especially as like, I'm not going to say, I can't speak for everybody, but I know especially sometimes as like men, right? Um,
Mhm.
we think that like our worth is based off of what we can do, right?
Yes.
That's a lot of things. I mean, so it's just like, no, it should be just, you have to remember what your worth is, it only matters about what you think about you. I really think that,
Yes.
wholeheartedly. Now, if someone wanted to reach out to you for, performance coaching and stuff, how could they reach out to you?
Yeah. So are you gonna have show notes for this episode? Again, like I have a link tree with all my like contact info and different, platforms and all the content and things like that.
Okay.
But like, yeah. So I can send that. And
yep. So they post it on there in the comments and stuff, so someone can reach out to you in case they have any, questions or anything, or they need some help with their performance. Other than that, man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know this was, just audio and stuff like that, but I appreciate, and it was a rescheduled too, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your day in order to hop on my podcast, man, and definitely speak your truth. Thank you, Robin, so much.
Thank you for having me. I had a really good time.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. So other than that, man, if you're watching this on, YouTube or anything, like, subscribe or share this channel. And if you're listening to this on, my podcast, just 5 stars and leave a review. Other than that, man, I just want you guys to, keep killing the day. And just remember, you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.